Hi, and welcome to my midday NGX update. So I decided to do something different. Usually I'll prepare an Excel sheet where you see the gainers, the losers, top most actively traded stock by volume and value. But I just decided to do, let me do something different. Let me just walk you through so people can actually see how trading happens and all that. Probably sometime I'll do a live trade. The only reason why I'm not picking a live trade is I don't want anybody to think or say, if I buy something, people will say, hey, maybe this should be bought or this should be sold. So I'm not going to do that. But you can learn and do your own thing. So how do I prepare? How do I say, okay, what do I watch out for when I'm watching the market? So the first place I go to is a corporate disclosure, a segment of the NGX website. You can see it. You can see the web address, NGX slash blah, 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 corporate disclosures. You can do a Google search. It will still pop up. You just say NGX. I mean, you can have it. It's a site I go to a lot. And so what do I now look out for now? Let's come to the gist of the matter. You can see the time is 11:52 a.m. So what are the most actively traded stocks? Now, I will keep refreshing this till about 12 noon. So this video will probably run for 15, 20 minutes. Now, let's look at what are the most, the top gainers at the moment. Airtel Africa, NCR, Square, Cornerstone, and John Hart. On the loser side, you have Total, you have Triple G, you have Eterna, you have Girigu, and Transpower. It looks like it's going to be a very reddish day because I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the magnitude of losses for the losers is pretty high. I don't think it was this bad yesterday, or maybe I'm wrong. Now let's look at the bottom left on my end. You have the most actively traded stock by value, and obviously it's typically the banks, MTNs, Dangote Cement, the big cap stocks because their share prices are expensive, or their share prices are bigger. If I can use that term, that's a better term. So you have Zenith, 463 million worth of shares traded, Oando 307 million, Access Corporation, which is parent company of Access Bank, 290 million naira worth of shares traded, First Oko 188 million, and MTN Nigeria 185 million. So it's looking like a rather sluggish day, maybe because today is Friday, maybe because it's the last day of the month. But one thing about this market, and maybe I don't know, maybe I should actually change my mind and start doing, rather than doing, say, maybe midday updates, I should start doing 2 p.m. updates because 2 p.m. is when you have, I would say that's the last 30 minutes or 20 to 30 minutes of trading action, depending on what you are watching, right? Now, for the most actively traded stocks by volume, I mean, seems to be sluggish because I remember yesterday you had over 80 million shares as the most actively traded stock by volume. If I recall correctly, I think it was one of the insurance firms. I'd have to check and all that. But what we have now is Sovereign Trust Insurance, 12.5 million shares traded. Access Corporation, 10.8 million shares traded. Charms at 7.4 million shares traded. Zenith Bank, 6.7 million shares traded. And Dia Communications, 6.1 million shares traded. So it's looking like a sluggish period. Now, let's see what's happening in the markets. And in case you are wondering what platform, you can see I'm using Morgan Capital iTrade, a pretty decent firm. I've used them for a couple of, pushing almost, at least it should be about 7 to 10 years I've used this firm, and they're pretty good and all that. But there are a couple of other players in the space. I tend to use this, or at least for my primary market monitoring, because I mean, it's very tab friendly. So anytime I'm on the move, I have meetings, I can log in and log out. You have platforms that are way more mobile friendly, but they don't give you this scope of details. So what else is happening? Let's look at the index. The index measures the average performance of stocks on the exchange. Okay, it's looking green so far, up 0.06%. If this holds, it means we may end today's session in the green, but it's early days. You still have about 2 hours to go. And now then you can then look at the premium. premium I've forgotten the definition of premium. I probably should do a write up on it somewhere. But you have the likes of Access Corporation, so the premium stocks or the premium boss rather, sub tier, are mostly in the red. Like I said in the pre-market video that I did, I'm keeping an eye on WAPCO. Let's see what WAPCO is doing. Um, WAPCO is trading at sub sub 130. So far, how many shares have been traded so far in WAPCO? 157. Stock is trading. Last price is 128 naira and 50 kobo. So clearly you can see that. I don't know if it will close there, but clearly it's a reddish day. Now look at Seplat. I usually say something about Seplat. Hold on. Where are we? So what do you have? You see Seplat is 5,100 bid, 101 bid, offer 5287. But the thing about Seplat is that if you can see the reference price, you can see the volume of shares traded in Seplat, 3,400 shares traded so far. You need a single block move of 100,000 shares to move this stock up and down, and that rarely happens because you can even look at the bids and offers. Total offer is 319,000, and the total order or total bid is 37,000. I mean, if you can even see the bids, total order quantity on my left, 37,000. Bid quantity 319,000. So clearly there's supply, but it's really tiny units trading. What else again? MTN. That's why I would always have MTN so far in my pre-market. You can see the bids and offers. So far, 455,000 MTN shares traded. Bids 408 naira, offer 410 naira and the like. So I mean, so clearly, this is why I say, even though the stock probably might close at 435, depending on if there's a block trade, you can see 408 bid, 410 offer trades and all that. So that's for these stocks here. These are my, let's say, stocks are regular on my watch list for the last couple of days. On my left, you can see the trades as they happen. That's the UAC trade, Zenith Bank trade, Seplat, and all those things. Tipped initiate. So let's go to we like call it the broader boss. What else is in the red? I'm usually more interested in the red because if the stock is red for short-term or long-term reasons, and then one can then decide to position. ICO in the red, 4 naira and 6 kobo. As I look at it on my left, my right rather, UACN trades at sub 70. So clearly, that's a short-term play for those who are serving enough. Aradel seems to be going back to quiet trading days. 134,000 shares traded so far. Let's see the bid and offer for Aradel. 511 bid, 515 offer. Better class, I'm not very interested in better class. CAP, let's see the bid and offer. CAP is a stock I tend to keep an eye on. 65 naira bid, 68 naira offer. Okay, not bad. What else? Custodian. Those are not momentum stocks in my view at the moment. Menamelware, Etana, ETI, Transact, FCMB, FTN Coco, GTCO. What's GTCO doing? There was some news on GTCO. I'll cover that in the daily market summary. 92 naira, 85 kobo bids, 93 naira offer. Very tight, tiny spread. Is there anything else interesting? It's Friday. Friday is typically a slow day, but 2 o'clock is when you start to see positioning because then markets are about to close by then. Guinea Insurance, J Beggar, okay. It's in my price point. 136 bid, 140 offered. Reference price 146 naira and 10 kobo. Last price 136. Okay, so it seems that the bidders tend to maybe have the upper hand. Order quantity is 244. Offer quantity 275. Okay. Linkage assurance, main Baker, Multiverse. NACO used to be a stock that was range trading. I don't know if NACO is still going to be range trading so far. Nah. What's the name doing? Not much. So really, it's kind of a quiet day. Okomo, and remember, if you've been following my pre-market videos, daily pre-market videos, I have been flagging Okomo, and this is what I'm saying. You have your reference price at 1,020 naira, but you're seeing sub trades below that price point. I mean, you have the last price 958, bid 940, offer price 950. So clearly, it seems the sellers tend to have a bigger sway. Same thing, Presco, reference price 1480, last price 1379, essentially 1380. Let's see what's the situation with Presco. Bid price 1378.1, offer price 1379. Very tight spread. Okay, so what else? Tantalizers, Transcorp, Transpower. Let's see the bid and offer with UAC. Bid price 68 naira 15 kobo. Offer price 72 naira. So rather widespread. What was the last price for UAC? 68.15. So it seems buyers tend to have the upper hand. UPDC, Veritas Cap, not much momentum in this stock. So let's look at growth. The only stock I'm looking for here is Micure and maybe TIP. I'll come back to QTIX and I'll round up with the index. So Micure bid 19 naira 60 kobo, offer 19 naira 70 kobo. Not much of a spread. Volume traded so far 63,000 shares. Micure doesn't trade huge volumes. TIP I'm interested in. By the way, we did a space on TIP a few days ago. It's up on Spotify. It's been to Green Cartel Twitter handle. Bid price 12 naira 20 kobo, offer price 12 naira 30 kobo. So tight spread. How much was traded so far today? 312,000. Not much. So let's go to QTIX. QTIX traded large volumes yesterday, so I want to see what's happening there. Like I said, QTIX seems to be range trading because, I mean, rather tight spread between bid and offer. Bid price 3 naira 69 kobo, offer price 3 naira and 70 and kobo. So rather tight spread. What's the volume? 1.5 million shares traded so far. Let's see, is that the usual volume for QTIX? I know QTIX, let's see. QTIX had said in the notice, and I probably should get, or can I bring out the notice so it's easy to read? Put that in new tab. Let's get this first. So QTIX has said, look, they're going to release their Q1 numbers on or before August 30. Today is August 29. So those numbers are going to be out either today or tomorrow on the NGX, most likely today. Q1 is the first quarter for the firm. So let's go back to QTIX volumes and all that. Anything interesting so far? Not much. So it's a pretty quiet day. It's Friday, midday. You usually don't have a lot of volatility midday. Consolidated hallmark trading at 420 kobo, Stanbic 100 naira in insurance. So really, it seems shaping out to be a pretty decent day. I don't know why QTIX thing is page is taking forever to come up. I guess I'll come back to that probably at the end of market close. But let's look at the index. What's the index doing again? And I'm rounding up this video. The time, I'm sure you can see the time somewhere. It's 12:05, 5 minutes past 12. Index is up 0.06. I mean, that's flattish because 0.06 increase is essentially no increase. That's flat, but mathematically speaking, you can call it an increase. So that's pretty much my my mid-market updates. To take you back, let's refresh. Most actively traded stock by value, Zenith Bank, 471 million shares so far. Sovereign Trust, most actively traded stock by volume, 12.5 million shares so far. On the gainer side, NSL Tech, Etel Africa, NCR, Square, John Holt, top gainers. On the flip side, Total, Triple G, Eterna, Geregu, and Transpower are the top losers. Let me see if Transpower and I did a Spotify episode on Transpower. So if you'd like to learn more, I always encourage people do check out the Spotify because you probably will get more content on Spotify than on YouTube. I seem to be maxing my capacity for YouTube. I'm probably doing 3 videos a day, and so views have dropped a bit, but sometimes one has to ignore views and do what you have to do. Because there's no way I can do a midday video other than midday, right? You have pre-market, midday, market close. So those are the 3 essential segments of a trading session. Transpower 257, other bids and offers. It's been like this for the last couple of days. Net full offer. Stock is on full offer. So no buyers. I'm not sure why. I'm sure if you put a bid in, it will go. And interestingly, if you put a bid in probably at a lower price, it could probably go depending on market sentiments. I know there are a couple of rules and all that, but yeah, we could try and see how it goes. So that's pretty much about it. See you at market close, 6 p.m. West African time. You get the daily market summary. But the market closes by 2:30 p.m. West African time. For retail traders like myself, it's 2:20 p.m. After that, you can put in trades. For the brokers, they have 2:20 to 2:30 p.m. to put in trades. So have yourselves a great day ahead, and I'll see you at market close.